Hi there, my name is Sarah. I am 30 years old. I have bipolar disorder, anxiety. I have dealt with depression all of my life. Um, I had a traumatic childhood, a lot of childhood trauma, grew up around, um, drugs, specifically marijuana. Um, and I know some people are probably like, oh, it's not a drug. The way I grew up around it, it was most definitely a drug. And my dad and stepmama were addicted and abused it, and they still do to this day, all day, every day. They grew it in an incubator in the room next to mine. My parents divorced when I was 5. Um, my mom also abused alcohol. She has had her struggles. Um, my stepmom was emotionally abusive. I had to go back and forth between my mom and dad's house every couple of days. And that's, there's many other things that have happened along the path, along my childhood. And then in my 20s, that was a whole nother set of trauma. Um, and I'm 30 now and I have a daughter. She's 9 months. I have a husband and I'm still struggling. I'm still having such a hard time. I feel like every time I try to eat healthier or exercise or make a step into learning how to cope with my anxiety and bipolar disorder, I feel like there's this like darkness that just kind of holds me back and does not want me to get better. And for a long time, I thought it was just me, maybe self sabotaging myself. Maybe my inner child didn't want me to get better. Maybe my stepmom convinced me so bad that I didn't deserve happiness. And so part of me was holding me back. And, you know, a lot. A lot's happened over the years. I've tried a lot of things and I can't seem to get out of this darkness. And I'm not a religious person. I never have been. Even when I was younger, I remember going to church sometimes and I didn't know what was happening. I didn't understand. I just knew, hey, I get to go and be around kids my age and it was fun. And this is something I do. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand any of it. No one ever explained it to me. And I've spent my life so far just trying to survive that I never, had the space in my life to even think about researching religions and God and, you know, Christianity and the Bible and any of that. So, why am I deciding to read the Bible now? Why am I deciding to open my heart and mind and life to God and explore and go down this path by reading the Bible? So recently, I've been having a really hard time after my daughter. I had to sell my house because we needed the money. I've been struggling adjusting to being a stay-at-home mom in my in-laws' house. We live at my in-laws' house, my husband's parents' house. So that's been a big adjustment for me because I've been on my own since I was 19. And I've been having a lot of anxiety. Growing up to deal with my stress, I chewed my fingernails and I started doing that again this year. And I stopped that habit in my early 20s when I had my first set of braces. And so I thought, wow, like that's significant that I am that stressed out that I'm chewing my nails again. So it made me start to wonder. And I'm not getting any better. I can't seem to cope. I'm falling apart all the time. I'm being triggered constantly. I'm feeling like sad and can't get past my childhood. No matter how hard I try, I'm trying to eat healthier, but yet I keep making poor decisions. Like almost like it's not even me, like it's someone else making these decisions, and I'm just powerless to go along with it. And I feel like I keep getting stuck in these dark cycles over and over and over again. And since I've moved in with my in-laws, they are Christians. My in-laws go to church every Tuesday night and every Sunday afternoon. They're very involved. They very much believe in God. So is my sister-in-law. Her and her husband are very involved as well. And I'm seeing this whole other world that I've never been exposed to. I've only heard about, things in passing about the Bible and God. And, I've met a ton of people who are like, we're struggling, having problems, addicted to alcohol or drugs, or, we're doing terrible, and then, or we're really unhealthy physically, and then they found God and Jesus, and their life was saved. And I've heard those stories over the years, but I've never really given merit to them. I've never really let that sink in. How many people I've encountered that have told me that, and how many stories I've heard of that. Because I was drowning in my own problems that I couldn't even, until I stopped drowning, I couldn't deal with anything. So now this year, I've been like hearing more about, because everyone's losing their minds right now in the world, especially America, And, I keep reading things online and seeing videos about people saying, spiritual battle and between darkness and light, and demons are real and Satan's real and all of that's real, and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's so like, okay, like if a ton of people are saying that, maybe I should open my mind to it and look into it and just kind of, explore that. So I try to keep an open mind, and I've just been hearing stuff, and then finally, about, I think it was like a week ago, my husband and I got in a huge fight, and I had to go to a doctor's appointment, and I just remember driving and just feeling so defeated, like feeling like no matter what I do, I can't seem to make any real substantial progress in my life. No matter how much I want to, no matter what I know I need to do, I can't. I feel like there's a wall that's holding me back, and it's not me. And for years, I've had this deep thought that it was, hear me out, guys, a demon. Now, I've had this thought for years and years and years. And I've never told anyone. I've never talked about it because to me it sounded so silly, like, and I don't mean like a demon's possessing me like you see in those, thriller horror movies where, there's a demon possessing a person. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is just like feeling like there's like a darkness that has a hold on me that won't let go. And I don't know how to get rid of it. And so I keep staying in that. I keep making poor decisions. I keep falling under that because it's easier to give in than to fight it on my own. And I've been fighting it for so long that I get tired, So we got in this huge fight, me and my husband, and I'm driving, and something inside me was just like, I need to let God in. And it instantly just made me start crying. And I was just like, I felt like, okay, I give up. I've been fighting this and fighting God and fighting believing in it and fighting opening my mind to it for so long. I give up. I'm ready to explore this, avenue in my life that I've never explored. And it's crazy because that night I went home and something inside me was like, wanted to watch a video, and I wanted to go to YouTube and to my save to watch later. Now, a couple weeks ago, I had just been scrolling through YouTube, the homepage, and mind you, at the time, I had never Googled or searched anything about God, anything about the Bible, anything about demons. And on my homepage, randomly, was this guy that was talking about 7 signs that there is a demon in your life. And this was weeks ago, okay, mind you, before any of this happened. And I remember looking at it and going, that's interesting. I'd love to watch that, but not right now. So I added it to my save to watch later. Didn't think about it again. So then that night, after I decided to give, believing in God a chance, I happened upon the video again, and I was ready to watch it and actually hear what he was saying. And that is what started me down this path of wanting to explore God, explore the Bible, and all of this, because I feel like what I've gathered so far is it's really important to read the Bible and read His Word and really let that in. And I've never done that. I've never actually looked for myself. I've never looked for information myself. I've always just kind of like been dealing with my life and my problems, and I've never really like actually researched things, asked questions, really like looked into it. So I decided the best thing that I can do myself is to actually read the Bible myself. And so that's what I'm going to do. And so after I watched that video about the 7 signs that you have demons in your life, I was like, oh my God, like, this is exactly what's going on, you know? And he said that the only way to get rid of the darkness in your life and the demons is to let God in and let the light in. And then the light will push out the darkness. That's it. That's how you do it. And I was like, okay. So I started to pray. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little weird at first, just talking out loud. And I was a little like on the fence, you know. And this was like less than a week ago this happened. And so then I prayed that night, and then the next day I watched more videos, opened my mind more, opened my heart more, and actually watched some more YouTube videos about like how to let God in and all that stuff. And then I actually, that night, I texted my friend, my best friend, because she recently all of a sudden started talking about God and Jesus and church and the Bible, and she's never been like that before. And she doesn't live here. She lives 2 hours from me, so I only see her every once in a while. And then when we text and stuff, it's about like, you know, our kids and, you know, life and stuff. Nothing really serious, except for when we see each other. We talk about like more serious things, catching up. And so I texted her and I was like, hey, like, how did you like all of a sudden get into this, you know, God and the Bible and church and stuff? So she started to tell me. And everything she said to me was very well said and really just made me feel like I want to explore this avenue, because my best friend has a very similar past to me and a very similar life so far to me. And she seems so much better. She seems happier. She seems more present. She, you know, stopped smoking weed. Oh, and I forgot to say that I also, in my 20s, started abusing marijuana and alcohol, and sleeping around and partying. And I am somewhat sober now. Every once in a while I smoke and drink still, but I really want to like fully stop. And she stopped and doesn't even miss it. And I'm just like, to see my best friend who I've known for so long, you know, since we were teenagers, to now have a totally different like look and outtake on life and doing so much better. And it was because she started reading the Bible, you know, really letting God into her life and going to church and reading His Word and really just having faith and letting Him in. And I trust my best friend more than I do anyone. And so for that to happen to her and me to see this change, I was just like, I want that. So what's the harm in giving it a try, you know? And so that's what I'm gonna do, you know? The next night after I prayed the first night, the next night she told me, you need to specifically tell the darkness, like Satan and his demons. Sorry, it's just I'm still getting used to all this. I was very close-minded about all of this, and now I'm like opening my mind to it, and it's just it's still a little weird. she's like, you need to tell him, talk to them specifically and tell him, no, no more. You have no control over my life. I'm letting the light in. I'm not going to fear you anymore. And I was like, okay. So that night, I went in my closet and I specifically spoke out loud to Satan and his demons. And I said, no more, no more. You're no longer going to have control over me. You're no longer going to hold, have your power over me. I'm not going to allow this anymore. I'm not going to allow this darkness in my life anymore. No more. And I had a full conversation, like probably 10 minutes worth, where I just kind of told him off, basically. Because, there's been a couple times in my life, in my 20s especially, where the darkness almost won. And there was a couple times where I did almost take my life. And I'm so grateful that I didn't. And I'm so grateful that I am where I am right now. And in less than a week, with it just already opening my mind and heart to God, and I've read the first couple, chapters and verses of Genesis, I already feel like a difference. I feel like there's a weight that's kind of been lifted off of me, especially the day after I told, the darkness no more. There was a huge weight off of me, and it was crazy because that next day, I went to the grocery store, and normally I really struggle at the grocery store. I get a lot of anxiety. I make poor choices, even though there's a big part of me that wants to eat healthy and get healthier, but yet I still make these poor choices. And the whole time at the store, I was okay. My anxiety wasn't bad at all. And I was actually wanting to make good choices, healthy choices. And that hasn't happened ever. So in less than a week, and already doing these little things, praying every night, opening my heart, reading the couple first chapters of Genesis, I'm already feeling more peaceful. I'm already feeling less anxious. I'm already feeling more hopeful. I'm already feeling that darkness, that dark cycle I kept getting in. I already feel it lifting. I already feel like I'm making better choices, healthier choices for me. And it's just definitely something I cannot put into words. And I'm really just excited to see where this goes. And so I am actually going to document this journey. Every single section of the Bible as I read it. It's going to take me a year because I downloaded the app Dwell. And it's audio, plus you can read it along, and it breaks up. There's different plans where you can break up the Bible in 1 year, 365 days. So I'm doing the straight through plan, starting at the beginning, work my way to the end, just because I feel like that's the way I need to do it for some reason. I feel like I need to just start at the beginning and just work my way through the end, one day at a time. And I'm actually going to share this journey with you guys. Each section as I go, I'm going to make a video and talk about it and how my life is progressing and changing, and how things are changing in my own life. And I really want to share this journey because I don't know, I just feel like I need to. I originally started this YouTube channel because I wanted to help people that also had bipolar disorder and anxiety and depression to have a better quality, happier life, and not feel like your life is over and that you have to bow down to your mental health. I feel like you can overcome it and cope with it better and manage it better. And just in the 8 weeks since I've started my channel, I've been led to this right here. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that was how it was meant to go. And I think that I'm meant to share this journey of me exploring the Bible, because I know that I'm not alone out there, and I know that there's a lot of people who don't know anything about the Bible, don't believe in God, or at least are on the fence, or do believe in God but have never read the Bible, don't go to church, he's not actually actively in your life. And so, I've been one of those people for a very long time now. I firmly was like, I'm not religious. I don't believe in anything. I'm open to anything. I believe that there's a higher power, but what that is, I don't know. And every time I would think about religion and God and stuff like that and higher powers, I literally would get so anxious and so overwhelmed because I was wanting to know things that were not for me to know. My brain was asking questions that are not meant for me to know. It's just not. And the day after I read Genesis 1 through 3, I really struggled that whole entire day because I kept wanting to know things and asking questions that, okay, well, if God is real, who created him, or this or that, or, the universe, and, just wanting to know more, and just things that about the divine and God and heaven and all of that, things that are not meant for a human to know. It's just not. And that whole entire day, something inside of me kept telling me, it's not meant for you to know. It's too much for you to know. And then the craziest thing happened. That voice inside of me, was it God? I don't know. Possibly. The voice asked me, if you had the answer to these questions that you're asking, what would you do with those answers? And I thought, nothing. Oh, I would do nothing with these answers. There's nothing that these answers that I'm searching for would do anything for me. So I really had to think about it and be like, I don't need to know these things. They're clearly too much for me to know and handle, because every time I even try to think about it or open my mind to it, I shut down and I get super overwhelmed and anxious, and I feel like my brain's gonna explode and melt. And say I did get these answers, I'm not gonna do anything with them. I can't think of a single thing that I would do with these answers. So I had to really sit down and think about it and be like, you know what? I need to stop. I need to just stop thinking about these things and just let it go, and just accept that there are some things that I'm not meant to know, and that is okay. And that was a huge pill for me to swallow. I'm not gonna lie, because I think that was the biggest thing keeping me from opening my heart and mind to God and exploring religion and that road in that area of life, was because I kept wanting to know these answers to things that were way bigger than I was supposed to know. So once I accepted that, that was a huge weight lifted off of me. I feel way less anxious. I feel more peaceful. And I still have a lot of questions that come up, and about dinosaurs, and certain science and stuff like that. But I found it really interesting because I saw this video the other day of this guy giving a lecture at a law college, in like another country like New Zealand or Australia or something like that. And he said, science and God can exist at the same time. It's not one or the other. Just because we know the science of things, just because we understand how things work, that doesn't take away from God still being the creator of it all. And guys, that was a huge one for me too, because I was like, you are so right. Just because we understand how things work doesn't mean that the creator of it can't still be God. And so that was another huge one for me. So I'm still doing research. I'm still trying to answer questions that come up and figure them out on my own. But these are just like kind of like little things, you know. I haven't fully explored the religion, you know, how there's different religions and stuff like that. But I think that I will find more answers as I go along. As I read the Bible, as I go down this path more. I think I will get more and more answers, more and more clarification, more and more clear. So that is why I've decided to read the Bible, because I think that I know the things that I want to do for my life to have a good quality life. I want to help people. I want to take care of myself physically and mentally. I want to let go of my past. I want to stop living life so anxious and stressed and overwhelmed all the time and struggling and you know, and I just feel like this is like where life is like pushing me towards, is like God and opening my mind and heart to Him. So I figured, why not read the Bible for myself and make a decision for myself instead of just, oh, everyone else believes in God, so I will too. Like, no, I want to actually read the Bible fully and make that decision for myself. And I want to be informed. And I want to really get this information for myself and make a decision for myself. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to share that with you guys. I'm going to take you on this journey with me. And we'll see where it takes me. And I'm also going to share with you guys how this journey also affects my mental and physical health in my life along the way. Because I find it very interesting that in less than a week in me opening my heart and mind and only reading the first couple of chapters of Genesis, I already feel more peaceful. I already feel less anxious. I already feel like calmer. And I've already made better choices than I have ever in regards to like my food and health. And it wasn't even like hard. It was like I just felt like this darkness, this weight just kind of is lifting off of me. And so it makes it easier to make these decisions. Versus before, it felt like I was like trying to fight. I was like in quicksand and I was trying to get out of it on my own. And it just kept sucking me in and sucking me in and sucking me in further. And I feel like now, like I'm actually getting out of the quicksand and getting away from it. And so, I don't know, I'm curious, you know, I'm really curious. I'm really interested to see where this goes. And worst comes to worst, I read the Bible and I go down this journey in 1 year and I decide, you know, I come out on the other end of it not believing in God. We'll deal with that then. You know, because I've already spent years and years and years trying to fix my problems, going to therapy, going to doctors, medicine, medication, coping skills, and it just seems like I can never really, really make a full breakthrough. And also what really, this is the last thing I'll say before I go, but there was also a show I watched 2 weeks ago called on Netflix called Live to 100, The Blue Zones. And the guy went to 4 different areas in the world where there was an abnormal amount of people that lived to 100. And he found in these 4 areas that all these people had 4 things in common. Their nutrition was mainly plant-based, just real raw food. No preservatives, fast food, sodas, crap like that. Then their exercise was through everyday life. And then the third one was connection. The elderly were not put in retirement homes. They stayed with the family. Everyone, had their friends and the groups of people, and they did things, and they got together, and they made their families and their partners and their, friendships priorities in their life, and gave them attention and nurtured them. And then they had, like a lot of, every single of these people too had something, some kind of religion or something that they believed in, and then the fourth thing was purpose. Everyone had a purpose, even the elderly people. They had a garden to work on, or they had grandchildren to help take care of, or they had places to go, church to go to, things to do. They were working on projects, or, like all of them had things that they did every day. They had purpose. They had something to get up for every morning. If you haven't watched this, I highly recommend it. It's called Live to 100, The Blue Zones on Netflix. Super fascinating. So it's a mini documentary series. It's only 4 episodes. And I found it super interesting because everything he was talking about in these episodes, I believed in. And I believed that was the key to a long, good quality life. Not only are they living long, but they're also having good quality, happy lives. And I noticed, though, the one thing that he talked about that I did not have in my life was religion, was believing in something, was having something that I truly believed in. And it made me really start thinking, And then it's crazy, the week before that, I was in Walmart and I met this random guy in the parking lot that was handing out flyers to a place that took people in free of charge to help rehabilitate them if they were dealing with drugs or alcohol and they wanted to get better. And this guy said that he found this place and they saved him and helped him. And then he's talking, telling me his story, and then he tells me, yeah, and I found Jesus again. And I came back to him and I opened my life back up to him and he saved me. And I thought, oh my God, like another person that I know and have met and have heard where they said, Jesus saved me, God saved me. So it was like every week up until now, I had something that just kept happening, revolving around flashing lights, like, hey, God, church, Jesus, Bible, like, hey, look at this. And I was so finally, when I had that fight with my husband, something inside me was just like, okay, I need to give it up and open my heart. And that was about a week ago. And here I am now, making this video, talking about how I'm going to read the Bible and let God into my life. And did I ever think that this was going to happen? You could have asked me a month ago. You know what? No, you could have asked me 2 weeks ago. And I would have said, no. Guys, I don't know. Something's happening. And from what I'm gathering, from what I've also seen in some videos on YouTube is, they talk about when it's your time, God will call you. I don't mean your time to die, but I mean like your time to like bring God into your life. If you don't already have him in your life, he will call on you. He will call you. And I guess this is my time. And, in hindsight, I'm gathering that he's actually been here for me for a long time, but I've never bothered to let him in. And now I'm really letting him in because I feel like I've been getting signs all this year that I can't ignore. So, I don't know, guys. So I'm going to start with each chapter of the Bible, and I'm going to share a video on each one as I go along for a full year, and then we'll see what happens. So if you're interested in following this journey with me, please subscribe or check out my videos. I'm just going to do them as I go, and we'll see what happens. So thanks, guys.